Good morning. This is the weekly tarot guidance reading with Mollie Kindred. And this is for the week starting Monday the 19th, although that's pretty general. It can be for this weekend too, and running, of course, into the weekend of next weekend. So let's begin. Let's see what energies we are working with at the start of the week. And I'll just say that today I can definitely feel a lot of uncertain energy in the collective. So there's a little bit of energy that kind of turns on a dime. You might be feeling content about things one moment, and then all of a sudden find yourself very emotional or even, not really understanding why. And so that's the energy of the collective right now. A little bit of chaos. So it's very important for us to learn to come back to our center and learn to come back to the peace within us when there's that chaos around, and also identifying where the energy is coming from. Is this collective? Is this mine? Am I picking this up from someone very close to me as a highly sensitive empath? You can do that. Did I bump into someone at the grocery store and not realize that there was an energetic transfer? Did I, witness an argument and pick up that negative energy? Those are all really key important factors in understanding your own energy and what is yours and what is not yours. So with that in mind, let's see what we have for the beginning of this week here. Okay, so we've got the Lovers, and that's governed in this tarot deck by Archangel Raphael, the angel of healing. And this indicates intimate relationships, carefully weigh your decisions, and good health. So what I'm getting here is this is in terms of our intimate relationships, but this is also all around about all of our relationships. So I feel like we have some planetary alignments going on, and there's some really great astrological resources. I listen to the Kai Pacha report every now and again, and I love him. I think he's great. And then also Susan Grace Astrology has some really great, she has a good way of tuning into the astrological side, but also kind of bringing it out in layman's terms if you don't really understand the workings of astrology. So I find that really helpful. So we've got some astrological influence here in relation with this card, the Lovers. And this is just basically what I'm getting is be very careful about how you're treating your relationships right now, how you're, in relationship with yourself, but also understanding that there are a lot of changes being made with our relationships of all kinds, friends, family, lovers, and especially in our intimate relationships. I already read this morning that there may be a parting of ways. Just that energy is a continuation of letting things go that are no longer serving our highest and best. So that energy is going to continue on forever. It's not some new thing that's coming up for us. We're continually letting go of what doesn't work for us anymore because we're getting more powerful and more confident in our ability to do so. So this is just saying that those relationships are basically upright and center at the beginning of the week here. And so just be very aware and be very soft and gentle that you are putting into your relationships exactly what you want. What is your intent in this relationship? And then make sure that you're aligning your actions and your words with that intent and trying to go for your highest and best outcome without trying to control the situation as well. So a bit of a balancing act for the beginning of this week in terms of our interpersonal relationships. But that is going to be up front and center because this is a major arcana as well. And so moving into the middle of the week, we have the Five of Air. An unwise choice. Learn what you can from this situation and review everyone's motives. This is one of those cards when you turn it over and you're like, darn. But it's also a card that can be misunderstood as well. So it's the Five of Air, which is also the swords in the tarot. And so this is all about being too analytical, being in the mind, being highly logical. And more and more and more, the universe is asking us to come from the heart. So if you are looking at your relationships from an intellectual perspective, this makes sense financially. this makes sense because we get along intellectually and physically. But there's something lacking. If you're analyzing your relationships in such a matter, or if you are doing a calculation of give and take instead of understanding if your relationship is balanced from the heart, then this can be connected to this five of air, that analytical, that overly logical, not allowing yourself to pursue new beginnings, or being open to relationships blossoming into a higher level, by sort of blocking that with fear of change. So the relationships, this one's probably going to feed into the relationship section as well. So another thing with this five of air, though, is yes, okay, we might make choices based out of fear. And we can feel it when we're doing it. There's hesitation or a little bit of uncertainty, or we might feel it in our gut. We might have an uneasy feeling about it. And we know we didn't make that choice with our highest and best. It wasn't powerful. We didn't feel like whatever happens here, I'm good with this choice. It's not one of those choices. It's one of those where you're like, okay. And then something from that bites you in the ass later. So this is just saying that, a no is sometimes just as good as a yes. A mistake is just as good as doing it 100% perfect, if that even exists. So understand that those sort of incidents are just as important to your path as if you were to have no hesitation whatsoever. So this is giving us an opportunity to review, what was the other person's intentions? What were my intentions? Is there something that I can clarify here using my communication skills? Remember, the throat chakra is a very important chakra in relation to the heart opening. So when the heart opens, we become vulnerable. And the more sensitive we are, the more that vulnerability is felt. So in order to be highly vulnerable and highly sensitive with an open heart chakra, you really need to be aware of your boundaries and discernment in regards to what other people's energies are like and how they are influencing you. So this is where it's important to review everyone's motives. And it's also just a very simple way of saying, communicate what you truly want. Communicate with your highest intent. So if you're uncertain about something, dig a little bit deeper. Ask some more questions, even if they're those questions you don't want to ask. Hi, are you seeing someone else? Yes. Okay, there. The question was asked and it was answered, and now you have truth to work with. Always seek the truth. So, bit of a heavy week, looks like. But sticking with the simple guidelines of living from the heart, seeking truth, and being honest in your communication. So going into the end here, oh, that's great. We have the star, which is happy times, make positive, optimistic, long-term plans, and on the right path. So essentially, this is along the lines of what I was just saying. These sort of seemingly erroneous decisions are helping us to understand how to communicate better and how to have stronger boundaries. And those boundaries can be flexible. That's one of the biggest things I learned. They don't have to be rigid boundaries. None shall pass here. They can be, I am always confident in my present moments with discerning who I shall let into my space. And that is very important to learn and to become familiar with. So the star is basically just letting us know that doing this work, working on our intimate relationships, working, on our friendships and our self-care is really helping us to open up in our communication, to be more discerning, and to also understand why we're making these choices out of fear. Because if we don't understand why, if we don't delve into what the basis or the foundation of those decisions are, then we'll continue to build that life on an unstable foundation. So the energies right now aren't really allowing us to get very far in doing that. So if you find, sorry, knock the camera there. If you find that you're kind of having to backtrack and this is what that card is indicating too, it's for the highest and best, because you're going to backtrack. You're going to sort of cement in those foundation holes there a little bit better, understand your situation a little bit better, and then move forward. And we're moving forward into this beautiful star energy, which is happy times, positive outcomes. So really just understand that this is going to be a little bit of a bumpy week. It could be super amazing. You could, be feeling a little bit depressed and out. There's I can see two energy streams here. So you're going to be mainly in one or the other, or you might kind of jump back and forth. But we're going to have some like highly positive energy and a little bit of the lower energies sort of mixing and mingling this week. But just understand that if you stay in your heart, if you stay with your highest intent, and you make those decisions with positive expectations of the outcome, with letting go of that control or trying to manipulate people into your desired outcome, then we have this beautiful star energy, which is essentially everything's coming together just as it is supposed to. So take that to heart, that we are heading towards this beautiful energy, and we have these two major arcanas for this week. So powerful, powerful energy coming into the solstice here. And I pulled a animal Dreaming Oracle card by Scott Alexander King, and I love these. They're mostly based on Australian animals, but this is the thylacine. This is wisdom. So essentially this is, and it's also an 11 card if we look at the number here, which is a master number. So the thylacine is sort of a mythical creature, or is it? Essentially, I believe what this card is sort of saying is magic lives within us, and it's our ability to believe in magic which continues it through generation to generation to generation. And it's also along the same lines of that optimism, of believing that our dreams can come true, of putting in the work in order to, aid in the fulfillment of that dream, and also letting go and letting the universe meet us in that co-creation. So this wisdom card is basically saying, understand that you are just as important as everybody else in this creation, in this web. And when you are tapping into your inner wisdom, that is going to be your key medicine in sort of surfing the waves of this week. If you can stay in peace, if you can stay heart-centered, and you can really tap into your inner wisdom and guidance, knowing that you can trust yourself, therefore that trust is going to spill out into the universe. So trust is going to be high on this week's sort of docket as well. And really being in tune with what is around you, what's yours, what's not, where are you going, and if you make a misstep, then correct it and move forward. We're still in an action-based energy here, and this is saying like really trust in yourself, trust in your own inner wisdom. And if you have to trust in the wisdom of someone else, then use that discernment and get a feeling of whether or not that person's energy is right for you, and what message you are seeking the answers to. So I hope that helps, and I hope everyone has a good week. Stay in tune with what's going on around you. I know this morning I did a little extra ritual because I could feel that sort of depressed energy kind of seeping in, and understanding that it wasn't necessarily mine. So what I do when that happens is I put oils on. So I have peppermint behind my ears, I have clary sage on my chest, as well as frankincense, and I put a little bit of decompressing oil blend on my wrists, as well as on my lymph nodes on my neck, just to really help myself out. Because I know when that extra energy is out there, that's sort of a lower level energy, I want to do, everything in my power in a gentle, kind of playful way to help myself out. Why not? So take a bath, put on some oils, give yourself a dry brush massage to get that the exfoliation, but also the lymph kind of system coming online. Just make sure you're being really gentle and good to yourself. Okay, that's all for now. Have a great week. Bye for now.